Welcome back! My name is Baller Scuba. This is Video Games Over Time. We are still in 1980, and today we're going to talk about Berserk. Our story starts at University Research Laboratories, a division of Stern Electronics. Stern Electronics was formed when the Stern family purchased Chicago Coin, a pinball manufacturer, in 1977. Stern was interested in moving into the still emerging video game market. Alan McNeil, an employee there, had a dream one night involving a black and white video game where he had to fight robots. So, McNeil went to work. McNeil originally used a Motorola 6809E processor for the game, but ran into some issues. So, the processor was switched to a Zilog Z80 processor, which was widely used at the time. The game was also changed from a black and white game to a color game, and a quick conversion of the existing game needed to be done. The name Berserk comes from the Fred Saberhagen Berserker series of novels, a series of space opera science fiction novels in which robots try to destroy all life. In the game, the player controls a green stick man. The player will then move this character through a small maze, shooting robots who will shoot back at the player. If the player can move the character to the other side of the maze, a new room will spawn. The game has a total of 65,536 rooms, which is 256 times 256, but only 1,024 layouts. Then there is Evil Otto. Evil Otto is a bouncing smiley face that is designed to quicken the pace of the game. Evil Otto is indestructible, at least in the original version, and will chase the player and will kill the player if they come in contact. Evil Otto was named after Dave Otto, the security chief at Dave Nutting Associates, where Alan McNeil used to work. We previously mentioned Dave Nutting Associates for their port of Gunfight in our Space Invaders video. Apparently, Dave Otto would have a smile on his face while yelling at people. But the thing that Berserk is possibly most well known for is its speech synthesis. The robots in the game will speak to and even taunt the player. This was very expensive in 1980. And estimates push the cost of producing these sounds to $1,000 a word, over $3,100 per word in 2020. So, several words were reused in different phrases. Overall, there are 30 words in the English vocabulary for the game. Berserk was officially released in 1980 by Stern Electronics, although the exact date is still debated. The game would sell well, selling just under 40,000 units, marking the first success for Stern Electronics. The biggest issue for the sales turned out to be the mechanical failure of the joystick, which would have to be replaced. This led to over 4,000 canceled orders for the machine. With the background of the game now told, it's time to play the game for ourselves. And here we are in the game. As you can see, I've been trying a little bit. I've been practicing. This is a difficult game, so I felt I needed to do it. For the record, I'm playing Revision RC31, I believe they call it, also known as Fast Bullets. That's going to make the game harder for me, but we're going to do what we can. I am not particularly good at this game, which is why you can see I've been practicing quite a bit. I got 7 coins in there. We are going to get into it. I should point out that the voice synthesis in the game is not necessarily the clearest thing out there, so I will do what I can to pick out what the phrases that they're using are. There are going to be some that are clearer than others. But let's get into the game. I'm going to do what I can here. I got 7 quarters in there. Detected, I think they said. Okay. These are the first enemies. These are easy enemies. They don't shoot back.
That's a humanoid.
So we're going to do what we can here. My goal is to break 3,000. That's my goal. You can see I was just under that before, so I'm going to try to do a little bit better than that today. These first enemies, you want to kill all of
Intruder
these.
alert, intruder alert.
And there's
The
Evil
intruder
Otto.
must not escape.
Evil Otto comes for you
humanoid.
strong, and he is indestructible, so you need to do what you can to defeat him.
Intruder alert.
Oh, that's Evil
intruder
Otto.
alert.
He goes a lot faster once all the enemies are destroyed, so once that happens, you really should motor off the screen.
Like a robot.
I try not to stick around once Evil Otto has spawned, kind of no matter what.
Charge the chicken.
Alright, yeah, I love it when they destroy themselves. They don't always do that, but they do from time to time.
Destroy it.
You know what? I'm doing pretty well right now.
Shoot the humanoid. Intruder alert.
I
Intruder
did-
alert.
I did look up...
Intruder must not escape.
Yeah, the intruder must not escape. Intruder alert is something that they say a lot. Get the humanoid, something that they say a lot.
Get the humanoid.
Like that. The world record for this version, known as Fast Bullet, is about 50,000,
The intruder.
which I think is actually not that bad.
Intruder alert.
Compared to
Intruder
some of the
alert.
other things that we have
Chicken
played,
fight like a robot.
50,000 isn't terrible. All right, we're up to level 3 of the robots now. Level 2 are the red ones. They shoot at you once. These guys shoot a
Intruder
ton.
alert. Intruder alert. Got the humanoid.
All right, well,
Got the intruder.
he got me, but I'm
Shoot the humanoid.
doing pretty well so far. You know what? Can I just go?
Fight like a robot.
That was a bad situation for me to be in, and I wanted out. Wow. I'm not used to them spamming this much. Usually these level 3
Intruder
guys will
alert.
shoot
Intruder
maybe
alert.
twice.
Got the humanoid. Got the intruder.
And yeah, once you get up to this level,
Got the humanoid. Got the intruder.
there's only so much you can do. All right, that was a pretty good score. I'll put in my actual initials for that one. Well, once again, my goal is to get to 3,000. And I was looking good on that first life, right? I had 2,000 on that first life, and then, like, just bad things happened. Sometimes I don't see the bullets coming.
Humanoid.
Sometimes I spawn in a spot where I'm not sure what I could do to get through it. For there to be 65,000 rooms, something like that, over 60,000 rooms in this game, I'm not sure what the point of that is, because I don't know anybody that can make it through, 100.
Attack the humanoid. The intruder must not escape.
The intruder must not escape. So you can kind of see why the voice synthesis is a big part of this game. It's almost constant.
Intruder
wait
alert.
for you to die.
Intruder alert.
No, you're not going to do it? There we go. Okay.
Chicken
Evil Otto's
fight
after me.
like a robot.
I'm going out. Something like fight like a robot? Ah!
Got the humanoid. Got the intruder.
He fired it at the right time, at the right angle. You can shoot the bullets and make them go away, but I am not particularly good enough to know where my bullets are and where they're going to go. So it's difficult. I do know that he seems to be left-handed, right?
Attack the intruder alert. The intruder must not escape.
Although if I point up, he's right-handed. So that's one of the reasons why I'm having difficulty, I'm sure. I don't know where the bullet's going to come from my body. He's got a big body and a little spot
Intruder
to...
alert. Intruder chicken fight like a robot.
I don't know. I don't know what they're saying sometimes.
Got the humanoid. Got the intruder.
Alright, well, we made it to level 3, and that's
Kill the humanoid.
pretty much when I start dying. But yeah, 50,000 I think is kind of reasonable. I could see that being...
Got the humanoid. Got the intruder.
Well, that didn't go well. I could see that being an attainable goal, right? Some of the other games that we've talked about where it's just like you have to play for 3 hours without dying. I don't know how you do that. This one, I assume that it doesn't take too long. This game is very difficult. So for me to get 3,000 when the world record is 50,000, that's good for me. By my standards, I will accept it.
Destroy it.
Okay.
The
Evil Otto.
intruder must not escape.
I'm trying to let the voice synthesis go when it goes. For the record, Evil Otto.
Attack
Jeez.
it. Intruder alert. Intruder alert.
Evil Otto, he moves faster up and down than he does left to
Fight
right,
like a robot.
and you move faster horizontally than you do vertically. So if you want to escape from Evil Otto, he moves as fast as
Destroy
you.
the chicken.
horizontally. So if you want to escape Evil Otto, the way to go is horizontal.
Intruder alert, intruder
He
alert.
can't catch you if you go horizontal.
Chicken, fight like a robot.
If you're going vertical, he can catch you.
Got the humanoid. Got the intruder.
I ran into that one.
Get the intruder.
Not necessarily my best run, but I think we're doing okay for ourselves so
Intruder
far.
must not escape.
Destroy it.
Get
So
the
many.
intruder.
There's so many. I'm lucky that these aren't level 3 robots. Otherwise, I would have been dead
Destroy
already.
it.
I should point out that you have to actually point which direction you want to
Attack the
go.
humanoid.
You can't go in all 8 directions, which is
Intruder
weird.
alert, intruder
But
alert.
you
Chicken,
can't-
fight like a robot.
You can't just stand still and shoot. You do have to
Got
point
the
that way.
humanoid.
Got the intruder.
I thought I would have been fine there, but it clipped my toe, and that is enough for the kill. Now you have to actually be going the direction you want to shoot in order to shoot, and that makes it a little clunky for me.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Got the humanoid.
Got the intruder.
He just spammed. All right, I haven't been able to match that one practice run that I had, but I'm gonna keep going. For the record, 2-player is one at a time. It's not simultaneous, so don't think that I'm like missing out on stuff by not having a second person with me. It's just one at a time. As far as I have been able to
Attack
test,
intruder.
that
The
is my
intruder must not
understanding.
escape.
I did test it. I tried to look it up. Nobody ever mentioned like co-op, so it seems to me there's enough room for 2 people here, but I can understand
Humanoid must not escape.
how it would be, hard to program to have that many people. 2. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go.
Chicken, fight like a robot.
Fight like a robot. My bullets go very quick compared to theirs, but this is on fast bullets. There's another
Destroy the
revision that
humanoid.
is slower.
Kill the intruder.
I feel like that was fairly easy, so I risked it.
Kill the chicken.
Kill the chicken!
Intruder alert, intruder alert. The humanoid must not escape.
Evil Otto is so fast.
Got the
Oh, come
humanoid.
on!
The intruder.
Oh, I thought I was doing so well, and then that shows up. Alright, that counted as a hit. Okay.
Attack the humanoid. Intruder alert, intruder alert.
He's after me.
Got the humanoid.
Got the intruder.
One of the problems is that I'm taller than them.
Got the humanoid. Got the intruder alert, intruder alert.
Alright. We're doing okay, but I can't quite break through yet. I think I'm gonna give it one more try. I think I got one more try in me because,
Destroy it.
like, honestly, this one actually hurts my wrists a bit to play. There's only so long I can go on this one. So I think I got one more in me. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to
Charge
break
the intruder.
3,000, but I'm gonna give it my best shot again, but it's not like I haven't this whole time.
The humanoid must not escape.
But you can see the voice synthesis would stand out so much at the time. And that is the biggest kind of takeaway for me
Intruder alert,
of this
intruder
game.
alert.
It is a difficult game, but the voice
Chicken,
synthesis
fight like a robot.
makes it stand out quite a bit. Oh, jeez.
Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert, intruder alert.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Don't shoot, don't shoot. Alright, I'm just gonna go.
Chicken, fight like a robot.
I gotta pick my
Destroy
spots
the intruder.
very carefully. Okay. Wow, that
Get
that
the
turned out
humanoid.
really
Chicken,
well.
Fight like a robot.
I didn't think that was gonna happen that well. Okay, long distance shot there. Let me try.
Intruder alert, intruder alert. Got the humanoid.
It was,
Intruder.
he was so close to me. Oh, and they
Destroy
spawned
it.
me on the harder level anyway.
Got the humanoid.
Got the intruder.
They just put me in a bad position sometimes.
Got
How?
the humanoid.
Got the intruder.
Alright, well, I tried. I tried to break 3,000, couldn't quite do it. Like I said, not my best game, but that is going, it starts wearing on you, this game. So I'm not going to be able to do any better moving forward, I don't think. So that is going to do it for Berserk. It's fun. I do have to say that. But, yeah, the best selling point is clearly the voice synthesis. That sounds so cool for 1980. But that is Berserk. With the game now played, it's time to talk about how the game holds up today. By today's standards, the game is very bare bones. It feels bare bones. There's not a lot going on. It's just you, enemies, and walls, and then evil auto spawns to push you to the next level. Overall, it's still fun, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there are still better shooters out there. It is a little slow to control the character, especially on fast bullets, this particular version of the game. There is a slow bullets version that also came out, and that's supposed to be easier to play, and maybe that's a little less tense, and I would have more fun with that version. But this is the version that I was able to get. So overall, I would say that the game doesn't necessarily hold up very well. Anytime that you kind of get this technological advancement in one particular field, in this case that would be the voice synthesis, that's not necessarily going to hold up over time. I feel like because they had the idea of robots, they get away with kind of the lower quality voice synthesis that they were able to get. The mixing of words so that it doesn't necessarily flow as a sentence, but because it's a robot saying get the, and then intruder or chicken or whatever, it works okay because they sound like robots that way. So that, I think, is a technical marvel that should be applauded for Berserk, but at the same time, it's not going to hold up very well because, of course, even a few years after this, we know that there's going to be so much better in terms of voices out there, to the point that it sounds just as good or better than any other media. It sounds just as good as movies or television shows. So it's not going to hold up as well because of the hardware limitations of the time. But the voice synthesis, I think, is the biggest improvement and the main reason that I felt I should get into the game and kind of play through it. The game's graphics don't necessarily hold up very well. We have seen better graphics in other games. I would say it's on par with something like Star Raiders, but I don't know, Star Raiders felt better because like the sprites would change over time. So I would say that both in Pac-Man and in Star Raiders, we had better graphics, but I understand that they were good still at the time. They were passable. They weren't a detraction by any means. The gameplay does feel clunky because your character moves so slowly. When the bullets move that fast, especially in this version, it becomes frustrating when an enemy shoots you. And you just know there's no way I'm going to dodge that in time. There's nowhere I can go to dodge that. But for me, how quickly the legs move compared to how far you move as a character, it was kind of strange. But overall, it's still a good game, and I still had fun with it. It's frustrating as long as I did play it, so I can only imagine what it would be like to try to get better, to try to get the high scores, stuff like that, which is not for me. I don't have any inclination to go back and play it some more now that I have played it. The replayability for me is low. With that said, the biggest thing that I took away was the voice synthesis, and that is something that I could see being used still in the future. So that is my modern take on the game. It is fun for a very short amount of time and little else. if I'm going to be honest. As is the case with many games of the time, reviews at the time are hard to find. It seems that the reviews of the game were positive. As time has gone on, the reviews have stayed positive. Berserk would go on to have clones, ports, a sequel, and even a board game. Perhaps its widest influence is due to the sounds of the game. The clips of the game's synthesized voices have been used and most likely will be used for years. Looking ahead, we will hear from Alan McNeil and Stern Electronics again, although we may not shine quite a spotlight on them again. And that is going to do it for the story of Berserk. My name is Baller Scuba. This has been Video Games Over Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in our next video, where we'll go into our first official dungeon.